Hello and welcome back to Afterglow episode 113, and this episode we're going back to the Atari 2600 to cover E.T., probably the most maligned and poorly reviewed game on that system. And I'm here to tell you that I think everyone is wrong. I don't think this game's nearly as bad as everyone else makes it out to be, and I'm going to be talking about that in this episode. But before I do that, I'm going to mix things up just a little bit. We're going to see if it works out, and if it does, we're going to continue this theme. Instead of closing the episode with the patrons, I think we're going to open the episode with our patron backer segment. So this is something new we're going to try, and we're going to see how it goes. So a special shout out goes out to Toby Drinks Big Red Soda, OCD in Every RPG, and Toby the King of Big Red Castan. There are so many jokes about Toby and Big Red in there, and if you don't understand those, be sure to check out the Secret Levels Discord, where you'll get filled in on all of the Toby and Big Red jokes. And of course, if you'd like a shout out at the beginning or end, depending on what happens of every episode, please check out the Afterglow Patreon, where you can get a shout out for just a single $1 a month. So as always, I'm going to be looking for feedback if you guys want to hear the Patreon shoutouts at either the beginning or the end of every episode, and I feel like we're going to add some music to it as well. I like the Chrono Trigger theme for it, but let me know what you all think in the show comments. But enough about all of that. We're going to listen to the intro music along with a commercial from the Atari 2600 version of E.T., because this game actually, not this game, but the IP E.T. got ported to other systems, believe it or not, after the commercial failure of the game. But of course, we're discussing the much maligned Atari 2600 version after our music and commercial break.
Hello? Somebody out there? E.T. Video game?
E.T. is the Atari video game cartridge you have to buy separately to play on the Atari video computer system. Your parents hook it up to the TV. It's the video game that lets you help E.T. get home.
E.T.
This is the Atari video computer system. E.T. and other video game cartridges are each sold separately.
And welcome back. Like I said in the intro, I'm going to do my best to actually defend this game, because I played this game so much as a kid, and I really enjoyed it. It was one of the games I got with my Atari 2600 whenever my uncle gifted it to me, along with a big box full of games, and it stood out to me quite a bit. The first thing, you get to the title screen, which I played the music for that title screen earlier, and you see a pretty decent rendition of E.T. Like, for it being on the Atari 2600, it looks good. But the game starts out, and you land in the spaceship, and you are in the game world at that point. And the game world isn't that big. There's only 6 screens, so it's nothing that you're going to get lost in or anything. It's not as large as something like Adventure for the 2600 by any means, but it is a multi-screen game. No, it's no Adventure, it's no Pitfall, but it does have more depth than something like Pac-Man or Space Invaders or Missile Command. You can explore a little bit. A lot of people complain about the bad guys in the game. There's only 2 bad guys in the entire game. You've got an FBI agent, and you've got a scientist. And for the most part, if they catch you, they take you to one of the screens, and again, there's only 6, and then they walk off. and you can just leave. They're a time waste more than anything else. They're not really a game over. They're the burn your time, which you do have a limited amount of time. You start out with an energy meter, and that energy meter drops with anything you do. If you move, your energy drops. If you stretch your neck to float, your energy drops. If you land in a pit, your energy drops. And that's a big thing. Energy is your main life source. But here's the deal. You have to go down in the pit because the pits have the phone pieces. You have to collect the phone pieces in order to phone home and go back to the mothership and escape. But you don't have to fall all the way down the pit and take that full energy hit. As you're falling, you can look and see if that pit has a phone piece or not. If it doesn't, you can just extend your neck in midair and float right back out, no problem. You don't have to take that impact energy hit, which drains, I believe, around 250 points of energy. Another complaint that a lot of people have about this game is they can't get out of the pit. And I don't understand why people have this complaint so much. It's not that complicated. The system has like a joystick and one button. Whenever you transition out of the pit onto the screen that contains the pit, don't let go of the button. Keep your neck extended and maneuver off the spread of the pit, and then you can let go of the button and you won't fall back down the pit. Like, I figured this out whenever I was 4 or 5 years old. I'm shocked that people on the internet haven't figured this out for years, but it's really not that complicated. So, let's get a little bit deeper into the gameplay. Of course, like I mentioned, you control E.T. Then you have the FBI agent, and like I said, if he touches you, the FBI agent will actually steal items. So if you've collected the phone piece, he'll take one of the phone pieces and hides it. If you haven't found any of the phone pieces, he'll take your Reese's Pieces instead, which this game has tiny little dots, and as a kid, I wasn't sure what they were until I got older and could look up the manual online, but they're supposed to be Reese's Pieces. And that does kind of make sense. If you don't have anything on you, he don't really bug you too much. But then you got the scientist who's wearing the lab coat, and he carries you to the building, and then he'll let you go. You can break away, but it's a waste of energy. Just let him take you to town. The game's 6 screens long, it's not that big. Whatever. There is Elliot in the game, too. He's tricky to make show up. If you die, he'll show up, or you can call him. If you have 9 Reese's Pieces on you, you can give them to Elliot. He'll give you a phone piece if you're missing any. That way, you don't have to go down all these pits if you don't want to. Instead, you can collect Reese's Pieces if you want. And then finally, there's the mothership. Whenever you find all the pieces of the mothership, or all the pieces of the phone, I'm sorry, you can contact the mothership, and then you go back to the screen that you start on, the mothership lands, you can get in, and you have completed a run of this game. So you've noticed I've been talking quite a bit. For an Atari 2600 game, this is fairly deep. Like, you're not just blasting Space Invaders, you're not just gobbling pellets. You're not just knocking missiles out of the air. There's quite a bit to do in this game. Like, I would equate this game to closer to Pitfall, as far as how much there is to explore and get into. It's not quite as big as Pitfall by any means, but to me, it goes down that path. And I haven't even gotten into the Easter eggs for the game. Yeah, for a game that everyone hates, there's actually some really cool Easter eggs in it. Go figure, right? So let's talk about those Easter eggs real quick. In the game, collect all the phone pieces and you give Elliot 7 pieces of Reese's Pieces. Then go back and there's a flower in the game you can revive. And it'll change into an alien and fly away. Now this is really cool. It's not just any alien. If you've ever played Yar's Revenge for the Atari 2600, it turns into a Yar. So it's really cool. And if you do these actions again in the next run of the game, it'll actually turn into Indiana Jones. And if you do it for a third run of the game, the initials HSW3 will appear. And if you're wondering, those initials will appear because this game was created by Howard Scott Warshaw. And the 3 in there is an indicator that this is actually his third game for the 2600. Which is really, really cool. And another little thing that you don't really notice at first, the phone pieces actually indicate Howard Scott Warshaw's initials as well, which I think is a really, really cool touch. And like I said, for this game being so hated, the fact that they actually hid cool little things in here like that so early on is just so neat. But, like, addressing another complaint, everyone complains about the bad guys in the game, which is funny because the game has adjustable difficulty. The 2600 had some switches in the front of it, and you can actually adjust difficulty. On the lowest one, no bad guys even show up. So if you're struggling with them at first, just play on that mode. You'll never have any of the bad guys show up, and you can practice just collecting the phone pieces and getting back in the mothership. If you play on medium, only the FBI agent will be there. The other dude ain't there. And of course, if you play in the hardest, you get the scientist along with the FBI agent, which is kind of like, to me, is a normal mode for the game, but it's actually considered hard. So again, if you're kind of like struggling with the game, you're working and figuring out the controls and the trick for getting out of pits, just play in easy mode, that way you don't have to mess with worrying about the enemies for a little bit. But yeah, that's most of the gameplay loop, and that was my main memories of the game, is that it's a game on the Atari 2600 that I enjoyed. So as I got older, the internet became a thing, and I was shocked to find that a lot of people hate this game. And every time they talk about hating it, I get the same complaints. The enemies and being unable to get out of the pits. And everyone I've talked to, I try to explain, the trick to getting out of the pits. I try telling them, if you're really struggling with the bad guys so much, just turn the bad guys off. Play on easy mode. But this game continues to just be blamed for the downfall of Atari. And make no mistake, this game was a commercial flop and it cost Atari money, but that's more to Atari's stupid business decision of printing more copies of this game than there were Atari 2600s in existence. For some reason, Atari thought that this game was going to be so big that it was going to require them to manufacture extra 2600s, so they manufactured more copies of the game than what number of consoles actually existed at the time. So Atari, in their genius, instead of deciding to try to maybe recycle some of the cases and PCBs from all these games, they decided to just take a bunch of them and bury them in a landfill, which, of course, it's a huge bit of gaming lore that became hugely popular. The Angry Video Game Nervy movie is loosely based on that storyline, very loosely based. I actually want to do a riff on that movie sometime, because while I was a huge fan of the AVGN, that movie is awful. I think he was trying to go for like a B-movie setup and kind of shoehorn in an E.T. review in there as well, but that movie's painful to watch, in my opinion. There's so many other better B-movies I'd rather watch, and I really want to riff on that movie at some point. I mean, I kind of feel bad for the guy because he did try, but there are many mistakes made just in the production of that movie, in the script of that movie, and it all turns into an amazing train wreck. But it also contributed to this legacy that E.T. has. Oh, it's a bad game. It's like, no, the game itself is not that bad. It's the combination of the game was a bit rushed. The fact that Atari made horrible business decisions with it, like they were banking on it to be this huge holiday thing. And I feel like if they would have just treated it as another game release, that it wouldn't have caused all the crap that you see to the point to where now everyone just automatically thinks, oh, it's E.T., it's the worst Atari game they did, and it caused the big video game crash of the 80s, and it's insanity to me. What caused the video game crash is Atari's idiotic business decisions. That's what caused the United States video game crash of the 80s. It wasn't E.T. E.T. was just another game. It's Atari's business decisions that caused Atari to fail. And because Atari failed and they were the face of the video game industry here in the United States, that's your crash right there. In my opinion, E.T. has nothing to do with it. It's not a bad game. I'd actually put it as a decent game. Is it the best game on the 2600? No. I mean, oftentimes I'd rather go back and play stuff like Space Invaders. I'd rather go back and play Yar's Revenge or Adventure. But to call it the worst game on the system, there's no way. I enjoyed my time with it. It was one of like the 10 or 15 cartridges in that box. And there's probably 50 to 70 games in there. And I had like around 10 or 15 that was a core of why I played most of the time. I'd go on to the others and explore every once in a while, but E.T. was in that 10 to 15 game rotation. To someone who had no clue about the history of Atari, who's just in the middle of nowhere playing this collection of games, I liked it. And again, I was shocked to see the internet just go crazy and attack this game, which, I mean, I really enjoy. Like, there's people also who, like, grew up in the Atari era that hate this game. And maybe it's because I was kind of isolated whenever I was playing the Atari. Like, I was just, like, 4 or 5, maybe 6 years old. Maybe a hair bit older. We could push 7 or 8. I can't fully remember, but I know... I don't think I was 8. I want to say I was probably 6. But I was so isolated from, like, all of the drama around video games. I just knew that I was sitting down and I was having fun playing it. So, like, if you think that this game sucks, maybe go back and look at it again. And don't let the stigma around it stain the fact that the game isn't that bad. I think that Howard Scott Warshaw, for the time he had, made a very competent game that has a lot of cool features. I do believe that if Atari would have given them even just another month on the game, that it would have been, like, so much better. But for the time he had and for what we got, I think it's a decent game. And I think that the internet has judged it unfairly. And maybe you'll play it, maybe you'll hate it, and you'll have your reasons, and that's cool. But for me personally, I enjoy it. But that's my thoughts on Atari, and my rant is over, and I'm sure I might get flamed in the comments for this one. But as a great man once said from another show, it's okay to like a video game. And with that, let's listen to a few more commercials for E.T. for the Atari 2600.
Hello? Somebody out there? E.T. Video game?
It's the video game that lets you pretend you're E.T., running away from secret agents, falling into danger, finding a phone to call home, and discovering the best thing on earth, a friend. E.T., only from Atari. Only from Atari. Made especially for systems from Atari. The video game that lets you help E.T. get home. Just in time for Christmas. Happy holidays.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
They got a million toys at Toys R Us that she can play with.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
They got the best for so much less, you really flip your head.
Now
at Toys R Us, the new E.T. cartridge, only $33.97. Help E.T. phone home with the Atari video game system. Now just $124.87. So go to Toys R Us and have a blast.
More games, more toys, oh boy! I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to another episode of Afterglow. If you enjoy listening to podcasts, retro gaming podcasts, I would like you to check out the link tree. In that link tree, you're going to find links to other shows that have had guests been on Afterglow before, or that I've guested on. On top of that, there's going to be some commercials for some of those shows at the end of this show. In that link tree, you'll also find a link to the Discord. Now, the Discord has some stuff that I've been doing that I keep forgetting to push on here, and I'm going to push it right now. On Wednesdays, every Wednesday, I will post a screenshot from an NES game. And it's going to be Wednesday, Name That NES Game, where people in the Discord will have to guess or figure out what the game name is from the video game screenshot I've done. So if you're not in the Discord yet, there's plenty of people in there you can chat with, and on top of that, we've got that game that I'm doing every Wednesday that I've, for some reason, never mentioned on this podcast yet, but now you know. On top of that, there is a link to a merch store. If for some reason you'd like an Afterglow t-shirt, sticker, magnet, or whatever, you can check out the merch store. And then finally, there is the Patreon. You can listen to the show on the Patreon if you wish, and if you want to subscribe for just a single $1 a month, you can get a shout out in every episode. As always, a couple of special thanks go to Toby from Secret Levels. He's the guy that came up with our show logo, as well as Grim from the Lost and Gone podcast, and my partner in the Grim Glow podcast, who has created the show's intro and outro music. And now that we've gone through all that, here are those commercials for some other shows I recommend you check out.
Hello and welcome to the Reviews Brothers. It's me, Martin, and you can join me on YouTube where I have hundreds of videos covering a huge range of video game topics. I've got top 10s, hidden gems, console-focused A to Zs, as well as dedicated videos to topics like Doom mods, 3D platform games, ninja games, pirate games, and more. I cover all systems from Commodore 64 right up to modern consoles. Nothing gaming is off the table. So be sure to search for the Reviews Brothers on YouTube, as well as on Instagram and TikTok for hundreds of retro and modern video game reviews.
Afterglow listeners, it's me, Keith Gasper, coming at you from the #1 retro gaming podcast, the Main Quest Podcast. Come hang out as a guest and I play and discuss a game from the backlog of my childhood. We're talking about our history and the history of the game, and if it's worth checking out today. We're talking about games from the NES, the Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx, Game Boy, and much more. And that's just on the main feed. If you enjoy what you're hearing on Afterglow, you're going to enjoy the Main Quest, and I'm happy to have you. Find the Main Quest on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Spotify, and wherever great podcasts are downloaded.
Hello, my name is Aaron. I'm one half of Super Pod Saga, a topical variety video game podcast fueled entirely by nostalgia and unleaded gasoline. Super Pod Saga, we discuss a different video game topic each and every week. We have new episodes every single Monday covering a different video game topic. More than anything, we want to entertain our listeners and make you feel like you're one of the boys, like you're hanging out at a campfire with some of your best zany, caffeine-powered buddies and just talking about your favorite games and all that stuff. Stop on down to Super Pod Saga. It's on every podcatcher there is. If it's not, let me know and we'll get on it. But again, Super Pod Saga, stop on by.
For more than 15 years, Retro Gaming Roundup has been the centre of your retro gaming universe, with top 10s, interviews, game reviews, news, and much more from all over the globe. Be sure to tune in every month for a new dose of Retro Gaming Roundup. That's RetroGamingRoundup.com.
Hey, this is Toby, one half of the Secret Levels podcast. We're a podcast that goes over old retro games. We go over the history, the story, the gameplay, some fun facts. We even rage a little bit. And then we go and give it a nice 1 to 10 rating to let you know if it's still worth playing. We have over 200 reviews for games on the NES, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and many other consoles. You can find us on all the major podcasting apps, such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can follow us on social media at Secret Levels Pod. Game over, folks.